SwoleBenji here. Yep, it's another one of these. We're going to be talking about different dungeon comparisons, corrupted dungeons, and all sorts of fun things just from all of the studies and all of the graphing and all of the spreadsheeting I have done. I wanted to share another viewpoint with you to show you my side of the story, my side of why I believe tier 5s are still superior. So let's get right into it, okay? On the left is a Earthkeeper Druid. When you kill him with an 8.3 satchel, he gives 1022 fame. This is also with premium active. Now, without the satchel, it's 586 fame. It takes 2 shots from a light crossbow's Q ability to kill it, right? Okay, on the right is a tier 6 map. The left is just a tier 5 dungeon, no maps, just a regular dungeon. Tier 6 map is on the right. It's 1200 fame. Now, I don't have the calculations with a satchel because, me personally, it's never worth using a satchel unless it's 8.3. You're paying too much silver. But at the same time, there's no way I would ever risk an 8.3 satchel in the red or black zones. So you could say that the comparison might be unfair, but personally, me, I'm not going to risk over a million to gain a very slight bump in fame in the red zones. Now, the mob on the right, for those that don't know, like, when you go up in tiers and when you go up in zones, so yellow to red to black, and tier 5, 6, 7, 8, etc., mobs get more health and they get more defense. So the mob on the right, obviously I would not bring full 8.3 out into the red zones, but I was generous with the test for those that are, and I used a set with 1500 IP, the weapon was 1500 IP, which is the equivalent of an 8.3 weapon with no spec. 1800 IP is the equivalent of 8.3 with max spec, for those wondering. So it takes 4 shots with 8.3 no spec to kill the mob on the right. Okay? So what's the fame difference? Okay, it's if you use the satchel in yellows versus kill the tier 6 mapped mob, it's 178 more fame. Like, that's it? Like, from level 99 to 100, you need 2 million fame or something. Yeah, it's like, pretty sure it's, no, it's like a million fame or something. It's like 1 million fame to level 99 to 100, right? So, 178 more isn't really that much more. It's really not. Not at all. Not worth it, in my opinion. Now, of course, if you're comparing the 586 fame without a satchel to 1,200, that's a little, that's like double, right? It's about double, almost. Is going to the red zone with all the travel time and all the risk and all the stress worth just double? That's up to you, man. To me, personally, it's not worth double, especially using an 8.3 no fame set. Because if you have 8.3 with no fame and you're farming tier 6s, that's all you're getting with all that risk. I don't know, man, but there's a lot more to talk about, so let's get into those as well. So let's compare tier 7 black zones. Okay, now, the black zones, you cannot faction flag. So there's that. And the mobs they're tougher, but they do give more fame. So on the left is the highest fame monster in the game is the Undead Knight. Out of all the dungeons and all the monsters, not including bosses and not including the Avalonian little shiny orb things you can find, these are the highest fame-giving monsters in the game, is the Undead Knight. For solo random dungeons, that is. Okay, so the one on the left in tier 5 takes 3 shots. Gives 1,402 fame, 804 without. You get 10 faction points, which, if you do the math on faction points, it's worth 150 silver if you convert that into hearts into silver, or if you convert 9,000 points into the iron chests, which give you about half as much silver as a heart, but they also give you, each iron chest on average is 7 tomes of insight. You're basically making 77 fame every time you kill one of these, if you converted it that way. But I'm not doing that in my calculations. That's just another little fun side tidbit, because in black zones, like I said, you do not get faction points. Alright, now the mob on the right takes 6 shots. 6 freaking shots to kill. But also, my gripe with the Black Zone is the time it takes to ride out to a Tier 7 zone, the time it takes to find the dungeons, the time it takes for you to wait for the portal to close. And yes, I got some comments on a previous video saying, well, who waits for the portal to close, dude? Just get in there and blow them up. Bro, that's how you get killed. That's how you get invaded. That's how you get caught with your pants down and lose all your gear. You should always wait for the portal to close, unless you're super rich Mr. Moneybags who doesn't care about his gear set, or who is very confident that his PvE monster clearing set is going to be able to kill 3 players in catch gear with gank gear that use the hack program to show that your dungeon that you're in is occupied with only 1 person. Because that's what ESP hackers do. An ESP hack will show a line connecting to dungeons on a map with an overhead bird's eye view. You can go into the Russian Hardcore Expedition Discord and see these people do this every day. They have a hack that will literally highlight a dungeon that is occupied and still open. And they will go in there and invade and kill you. Alright? And it's undetectable unless, someone goes in there and snitches them out. Which I don't think SBI cares to do. Even though they literally did it for an anti-botting Discord that popped up half a year ago, which is kind of weird that they would enforce people trying to kill bots, but they won't enforce speed hackers and stuff like that. It's really odd, and I'm not trying to bully SBI because I want their game to succeed, because if their game succeeds and grows big and grows good, I have everything to benefit from that because I make videos on the damn game, right? I don't have a reason to hate SBI other than that they muted me and they won't apologize for it, but that's whatever. That's just 1 or 2 salty weirdo game masters that they hired. That doesn't represent the company as a whole. I'm sure the old guard that started the company are based lads. Anyway. So the fame difference is a little bigger here. It's about 1.5 times the amount of fame, which is pretty good with the satchel, and it's 2.5 times the fame without, if you did the math on that, which I have displayed on the screen. There's no reason for me to really read it out, okay? Problem with tier 7s is they take about 4 times as long to clear than a tier 5. The time that you ride out to get there, to find the dungeon, and to ride back to bank your loot is more time you could just be doing tier 5s. But I have another counter reason why tier 5s are still even faster than what I'm showing here, and I'll get to that later, but let's talk about, I believe corrupted dungeons are next. So, yes, corrupted dungeons. Okay, so hunter difficulty. You can use the satchel, but even with it, it's not worth it because the mobs take about 8 Q casts to kill because Hunter and Stalker difficulty limit your IP, meaning that you clear slower. And yes, you can stack a 100% modifier onto these dungeons by getting a lot of infamy, which is not something I'm able to do, so I can't really share the results with that, though I have watched streamers in Stalker and spreadsheeted that out, and it's decent. It's about the same as tier 5. However, even in my tests of running Stalker dungeons and spreadsheeting streamers and doing Stalkers, the money gain, it seems recently has been better. I'm not gonna say that it isn't, because all my current tests in Stalker difficulty are showing that Stalker is making more silver than tier 5 dungeons right now. I have yet to beat my money earned in Stalker dungeons with tier 5s currently. That wasn't always the case, but it is right now. Maybe there was something behind the scenes that happened. I don't know, but I will keep testing and I will keep letting you guys know which one is better. But if all you care about silver, then Stalker difficulty, even with me barely winning 30 to 40% of my matches on my alt characters, I'm still able to make more bank than Yellow Zones right now. I don't know why that is. I have no idea. Now, then there's Slayer dungeons. I don't have access to Slayer because I literally can't get over 100,000 infamy. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I suck too much. It seems like every person I kill only gives me 1,000 infamy, and every time I die, I lose 5,000. So I just, without a 70 to 80% win rate, and I'm using builds that have a 95% win rate on Murder Ledger, I don't know what I just suck at the game. So whatever, I can't really give you data on Slayer, I'm sorry. But if you look at the leaderboards and you watch streamers, the fame that they're getting it's on par with hardcore expeditions. All right, so here's the trump card, the secret to tier 5 dungeons is that when Spectre Jacket is active, and I always get comments, okay, Spectre Jacket currently on live is bugged and it only does 44 damage at all tiers and all IPs. That's being fixed in the next patch. I don't know when the next patch is. SBI doesn't tell me. I'm not part of the round table. I don't get any insider information. So Spectre Jacket, when activated, I can run by a mob and then shoot 1 Q at them, and it will kill everything in tier 5s. There is not a single mob that isn't a boss that can survive that at all. And in the bottom right corner is Righteous Fire, because I tried to Google Spectre Jacket. I didn't feel like logging into the game to get a screenshot of what Spectre Jacket looks like. It's the big fiery nova. Alright, so there wasn't a picture of that on Google, so I just used Path of Exile. There you go. Alright, guys. I'm telling you, like, because I can run through a tier 5 dungeon with Spectre Jacket on and melt everything down to be one-shottable with Q, that means that I am clearing dungeons way more than 4 times faster than a red and black zone dungeon. And you could argue and say, well, why don't you just use the Spectre Jacket in the red and black zones? And yes, you do, but it doesn't deal nearly high enough as amount of damage. The enemies are tankier, and Spectre Jackets are quite expensive. Alright? They're pretty dang pricey, and if you don't get an 8.3, you're doing much less damage than you could be doing, and they're pretty pricey, like I said. Alright, common arguments that I get all the time and that my fans get. I have a lot of chads that defend me on Reddit because I'm banned from the subreddit. So they do most of the talking for me. Like, I'll just comb through and see someone yammering, and I'll be like, hey guys, educate this person. And my chads will go out and they will talk to people. So one of the common arguments is newbies can't wear 8.3. And my answer to that is they can after they do the grind. It's an MMORPG. That's what they're here for. So the first time leveling to 100 mastery to wear 8.3 took 171 tier 5 yellow zone dungeons. I did the test again because I thought maybe that was a kind of a low number. And the second test is 167 dungeons. So either I had more fame buff shrines that time, or maybe I just had better, like, more dungeon. I don't know. I don't know why it's lower. The third test was more. It was 189. So essentially, we can safely say with these 3 tests that you can wear 8.3 by doing no more than 200 yellow zone dungeons. And another argument is, well, newbies can't afford the 8.3, okay? I advise people with low specs and that are new to use boltcasters. 8.3 boltcasters will just instantly delete a boss. You really don't need 8.3 because once you hit like 7.1, 7.2, or 6.3 or whatever, you pretty much kill the boss immediately anyway. But if you wanted, it would take 5 million silver, which a newbie can get in 6 hours using the free 3-day premium and just doing yellow zone dungeons. I've done it across so many characters. It's absolutely doable. There's no excuse not to be able to do it. And let's say you want to go budget mode, which is the light crossbow. It's only 1.2 million. That's it. That's all it costs. I know that sounds like a lot to a newbie, but when you do yellow zone dungeons and you consistently do them, using that free 3-day premium, you will have it done. Now, the argument also could be said that 171 dungeons or even 200 yellow zone dungeons, well, that's a lot. You're not going to have premium in that whole amount of time. And my argument is, yeah, you will. That's only like 12 hours of playtime. That's you get 3 whole days. I'm assuming that you activated your free 3-day premium when you have the day off. You don't have to go to work. You don't have to go to someone's wedding. You don't have to go, someone's baby shower, or some other bullshit real-life obligation you might have. I get it. Whenever I compared myself to the casuals in World of Warcraft, I was performing at a 10 times higher rate. So I was level 60 in World of Warcraft in the first week. Everyone else took about a month. Not everyone else, but the majority of people took them about 1 month of playtime to hit level 60 when I did it in a week. And I didn't even do it efficiently. I just grinded mobs mostly. Like, I was just pretty much grinding constantly, right? So I understand that I can do things a little quicker than people that have life obligations or quote unquote, successful lives and whatnot and big families. I get that. That's fine. If you can't do 200 dungeons in an MMORPG and the dungeons take 2 to 3 minutes, then I think you're playing the wrong game. And that can't be used as an argument that, oh, that's too many dungeons. I don't know anyone that plays this game that has high specs and millions of silver that hasn't done any kind of grinding, other than they just got a bunch of buddies together, like when you have 12 friends and you're sitting at the entrance to a zone and you just kill whatever Swiftclaw wanders up nearby. Hey, look at this guy, he's by himself, get him, boys! And they all just dogpile on and kill him, and then they all rip off a piece of gear. Like, you're gonna make more silver than those guys because, like, what, 5 items that didn't trash, split between 12 people? I mean, ugh. That doesn't sound fun. Alright, and then the rest of the gear, I got it on the screen, I'm not going to read it out, but the point is, you don't need any other 8.3 items than the weapon. You don't need them. Yeah, the armor helps, especially having Spectre Jacket helps when you have higher specs, obviously, and when it's not bugged and patched. But you don't need them, like the 8.3 weapon, that's your DP. You're just killing everything so fast, your defense does not matter. Your cabbage soup will heal you between pulls, it absolutely doesn't matter. I get another argument that my videos make people afraid of the red and black zones, and I don't think it's me that's making them afraid, it's the hackers, the ESPers. If you were on Reddit a few months ago, you would see every other post was about hackers. On the Albion forums, every other post was about hackers. The Discord was just filled with, oh, hacker this, hacker that. And yeah, SBI smashed them down, and they kept coming back, and they eventually patched the method where they can't spoof their cell phone whatever programs, or I don't know, because I don't use this crap. But they're still doing it. You can go in the Russian Hardcore Expedition Discord, and they're still doing it. They're doing it right now. I'm not gonna show it on the video, but they're doing it. Go in there yourself and take a look. All right, and the game is filled with max spec people who have infinite silver thanks to their guilds and handholding. They're bored out of their minds. I have went super deep into the black zones just trying to find an area where there isn't anybody, and every single one of these zones just has a couple people with claws and frost stabs, and they'll just follow you forever, dude. You can be on a tier 3 horse with flat 4 weapons, and they don't care. They're so bored they will just follow and kill you. And this is on an alt that isn't labeled SwoleBenji, so they don't have a vendetta. They're not doing it to be on a YouTube video. They're just doing it because they're freaking bored. They did the grind so that they could do the murdering, and that's why I did the grind, and that's why you're doing the grind, so you could go out and murder people. If you don't do the grind, you'll never have high enough spec to compete. Like, if I was to fight myself with no spec, well, obviously the high spec version of myself would win every time, right? And you can argue that, hey, skill beats spec, but at the same time, the game's rock, paper, scissors, and also at the same time, you can use your gear and spec as a crutch. Yeah, sure, you can go out in tier 5 with Curse Staff max spec and blow up tier 7, tier 8 people with medium high specs. Yes, that's absolutely true. But at the same time, if you're a tier 5 Curse Staff user and you're fighting another tier 5 Curse Staff user with max spec, well, you're fucked. You're dead. You're completely deleted, obliterated, your gear's gone, and because you didn't do the time in the yellow zones, you don't have a bankroll, you don't have a safety net, you don't have any laborers or farms to back you up every day and give you that extra just passive income so that you can go out into the red and black zones anyway, right? So, you can read the rest on the screen. I'm moving on to the next slide. This video's getting kind of long. Group content is better. Yes, and... Okay, so not everyone likes to deal with people, alright? People don't like me. They don't like me at all. They find me insufferable, okay? And I find them the same. Not everyone, of course, but... Oh, man, like, I did 8 months of raiding in World of Warcraft Classic. I had to keep my mouth shut for so long with these people about their things. Like, they'd be like, so, dude, I just got back from the fucking insurance agency, bro. And, oh my god, it's fucking annoying. It's aggravating that these... Ugh. I'm not gonna speak any more on it, but, at the same time, they felt the same way with me, being like, hey guys, let's go and pull these slags. Wow, what a bunch of cretins. I'm not gonna say certain words on YouTube, obviously, but you can, you can substitute the word cretins for something that rhymes with runts. Okay, and there you go. That's your word. You get the point. Is that someone would be like, oh, like in World of Warcraft, I would go kill this this witch character, this witch mob, and I'd be like, let's kill this bitch, or let's get this girl, and they'd be like, oh my god, did you just assume their gender? And they weren't like joking or being funny, they were like seriously upset that I assumed a virtual female witch's gender in a video game that's 15 years old. I'm not even joking. Like, for real? Anyway, I don't want to deal with that kind of stuff to be able to have a slight advantage on fame and silver. Who cares? I don't want to have to listen to bong ripping mouth breathers, and they don't want to listen to me with my 4chan speak. So we do ourselves both a favor, and I just do the solo Yellow Zone content dungeons, and then they do their group dungeons with their hive mind groupthink Reddit bros. Simple as that. Another argument is that you can't just run one dungeon, bro, and get the numbers, bro. You got to run like a bunch, dude. You should show a video where you run a bunch. You know how much editing that takes? But let me also tell you, I've played this game for I don't know how long, over 10,000 hours easily across 20 different characters. I've spreadsheeted over 5,000 yellow dungeons, 2,000 tier 7 dungeons, over 500 tier 8s. And it's still going. It's constantly going. I've even tried to make videos with edits where I cut to the chests opening and try to make it watchable for you guys and stuff. And people still think those are either faked or cherry picked or no. This is just 1 hour of me playing a friggin' Yellow Zones. It's not cherry picked. It's y'all have no idea how bad it would get if this game went mainstream. Let me tell you about what would really happen. All right, every 6-figure YouTuber with a team of editors and sound designers would ruin the game because they would min-max every little thing. You would have all of the coders make parse websites. For those that don't know, World of Warcraft Classic had this big thing in the community where you would get graded on how well you rated. So you would go and kill a dragon, right? And people would run these third-party programs in your raid that would like analyze every spell cast, every hit damage taken, every potion used, everything done. And it would run it through this algorithm on a website, and it would give you a grade like you're in school. It was called your parse. So imagine that you go kill the dragon, you have fun with your bros, and they're like, excuse me, SwoleBenji, but it seems last Thursday that you parsed below 85%, and to be part of this guild, you need to parse above 85%, so I need you to try extra hard next week, okay? And like, that's what Albion Online will turn into if the game goes mainstream, and I'm warning you now that that's not the case. I mean, right now it's bad enough that someone made a damage meter for the game. That's horrible. I wish SBI would actually, like, fucking smash the banhammer on that shit, because fuck damage meters, okay? That's a fun-ruining, anti-humane mechanic right there. And then they also have the fame calculators that you can run in the background, which I don't know if those are allowed to be run or not. I don't know if these programs at all are allowed by SBI. I'm not going to ask them because Izzy will just say no, depending on the... I'm not going to talk about that, but the point is that... I don't know, man. Just the game could get way worse. If anyone thinks that I'm making the game worse, they haven't seen anything. They have no idea what would be coming if the game went mainstream. I'm not even on the side of the parses and the damage meters. I'm on the side of do what you want for fun. If you find red zones and black zones thrilling and exciting and fun, and it gets your heart rate going and gets your blood pumping, then go do it. Who cares if it's not as efficient in your mind? To me, I don't want to do them. I don't care. So why would I make content on doing them? I don't like to do them. And if you don't like Yellow Zones, you're probably not watching this anyway. So we all win. All right. So on the event of Yellow Zones aren't fun. Well, how are black zones and red zones any more fun than a yellow zone? How are they fun? I I think I've already made a video on this subject, but whatever. I just chill out. I watch anime, listen to music, chat with my girlfriend while she plays a game or watches a show. Watch a show with her. And yes, it's a real girl. It's not a voice changer for April Fool's Day. It's a real female, guys. Okay? Some Redditors can be so mean. Anyway, it is monotonous. It's an MMORPG. Come on now. Like, show me an MMORPG. Show me an action RPG that isn't grindy and do the same thing over and over. That's literally the Skinner box. That's the video game. That's how video games work. That's what they are. That's everything in life. That's working at your job. Lifting weights at the gym. I go to the gym every other day and I lift the weights and, hey, I got stronger. Woohoo. Yeah, here we go. Hey, my muscles are slightly bigger. It's not like something that you just do a little bit and then you're done. You constantly do them until you're at where you want to be. And the thing for me with yellow zones, like, they're not stressful at all. I don't have to worry about death or dying. I don't have to worry about looking at the corners of my screen. And I'm pretty freaking blind. I'm legally blind. I know I don't think I talk about that very much, but I have to wear prescription glasses to even be allowed to drive, right? I remember when I was getting my driving test for the first time as a wee lad, that I put my eyes in these goggle things to read off like a line chart. And I was just sitting there, just waiting. I was waiting for them to put the chart underneath the goggles so I could read it. And they're like, hey, read the line. I'm like, well, there's nothing there. And they're like, oh, well, you need glasses. And I was like, what? There's nothing there. There was literally nothing there. But it turns out that I was blind as heck. And yeah, so I get glasses, I go back, and I can like, oh, there's letters here. Okay. So for someone like, I don't wear glasses when I play games. I used to be forced to when I was in MLG. I had to wear the MLG gunners, the little yellow shaded things. So out of spite, I don't wear glasses when I play games anymore. And so when I'm staring with all my ferocity and intensity at the corners of the screen looking for a red name or a nameplate in the red and black zones, it's very straining. I don't know. It's just not for me, okay? This is a stupid complaint. Let's move on, okay? So the black zones, they take like 4 times as long to clear, travel to, back and forth, and you only get like 1.5 times the rewards. So to me, that's not worth it. Like, why do something that takes more effort for slightly more reward? I'm more of the take it easy and don't work hard kind of guy. I used to be like the workaholic maniac that would just show up early to work every single day and stay overtime and help everyone with everything all the time so I could be the number one, freaking guy. I learned that doesn't get you anywhere. It's so much easier just to chill out and be whatever, man. Like, everyone will dig you better, and you won't be working yourself to the bone and stressing out and having a horrible time when you, like imagine the kid, angry German kid, he goes out of the black zone, he gets like 2 million in loot, he's so happy, and he's on his way back to town, he gets ganked by 8 dudes, and he's just slamming his keyboard, the keys are flying everywhere, he's screaming in German, and it's like, that's not fun! The German kid, he could have just chilled in the yellow zone, he might have made maybe 500,000 instead of 2 million, he wouldn't have lost any of it. Yeah, maybe he would, you could assume he would make more fame in the black zones, but because he's running those dungeons constantly, he ends up with more fame in the yellows from my math. I'm just saying it's my math. And you could run a bunch of examples if you want. It's whatever, man. Alright, so you calculated X wrong. Like the fame thing, there was like a Reddit post, a whole Reddit post about it, that was trying to debunk that I calculated the fame wrong, but to me, no. Because 1 fame credit to me is 2 fame. That's as low as the conversion goes. If I'm leveling up, like the little Michelangelo staff thing, the Wukong staff. I forget the name because I don't frickin' play it. Let's just say I was leveling up the Pog Log. That's one of my chads use that example. The Pog Log. If I was leveling up the Pog Log, right, and it needs 100,000 fame to level, and I got 50,000 fame credits. And I put those 50,000 fame credits to level it, and it leveled it up, requiring 100,000 fame, then that to me is 100,000 fame. And people can argue, oh, well, that's not actual fame, that's not the stats page. Like, I've never cared about stats. Like, I don't care if my kill-death ratio is like 1 kill and 400 deaths, and that everyone thinks I suck or whatever. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit that the stats page doesn't show that fame. I'm not trying to like showboat to people about how much fame I get. I don't show up on the fame leaderboards because all the hardcore expedition people and all the Slayer corrupted dungeon people, they show up on the fame leaderboards. That's fine. I don't care about that stuff. The fame credits converts to fame for what I'm spending it on, and that's all I care about, and that's why I make the videos the way I do. I even explain that in the videos. Even in my old videos, I explain it that way. It's all there. These are just Redditors that don't watch the video. They look at the title, they look at the thumbnail, and that's it. They don't care. They just gotta find a reason. Just find a reason to get mad. Anyway, and even in my tests, I'm like being unfair because I'm using 300 more IP than the average player. The average player, if you look at all the metadata and all the API gathering data crap, and then there's people like, oh, you're using the word API wrong. No, who cares if I am or not? The point is that these are programs that are automated, that are giving people unfair advantages, but these programs also analyze things like what the average item power that people use so that they can better plan out their wars and crap. And the average item power is 1,200. Same goes for dungeons, 1,200 in the red and black zones. I used 1,500, which is extremely expensive if you have no spec. It's flat 8 if you don't, which is still kind of pricey. Even for me, I don't feel like spending that much money in the red and black zones. So the point is that I'm trying to give the red and black zones a little boost, a little benefit of the doubt here, and you know, like give them every advantage, and I'm trying to like tear down the yellows as much as I can, like no satchel for you, and blah, just Q spells, blah, right? I think that's the video. That's the video. That's all I got. I'm SwoleBenji. Thanks for watching. Redditors aren't going to watch a 32-minute long video, so there you go, lads. This is for you. If you started to doubt, if you started to doubt us and our cause, there you go. As always, be a bro and stay swole. And there was a funny Twitch streamer that got mad and called me names and said my videos weren't worth watching. But the funny thing is that while he was showing off my YouTube page, he was actually subscribed. Oops, a little oops there for you. And I don't know where you got that info that you think that I'm a hateful dude, but I'm not. I simply respect the freedom to be. You can keep parroting things that Redditors say. You can keep, just doing whatever to your 20 viewers. That's fine. If you're just gonna, you've never talked to me before. I've never talked to you. I don't know where you got this idea, but hey, man, you do you. I don't really give a shit. So yeah, that's a video. Yay! It's another video done about the same subject that we always cover here on the channel. Woo!